Good morning, everybody. It gives me a lot of pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for today, Besty Reuben. Besty Reuben is an esteemed English language and communication trainer. She brings with her a decade of expertise as an ESI teacher specializing in functional and business English, renowned for simplifying intricate language concepts. She has successfully instructed thousands of learners, spanning students, housewives, professionals, and businessmen. A Cambridge CELTA certified trainer, Bestie aids organizations in customizing language curricula and establishing language training centers. Beyond training, she serves as a POSH, that is Prevention of Sexual Harassment, Enabler, and POXCO educator. Passionate about women's empowerment, especially within the Christian community, she encourages collaboration among female entrepreneurs. Her recent series of talks on protection of children from sexual offenses, POXCO as better known, in Mumbai, Pune, and Vadodara schools serve as a catalyst for crucial dialogues on child safety, teachers' mental health, and staff well-being. Besty Reuben is currently the lead trainer at Bob's Banter Academy, which is founded by well-established columnist and author, Mr. Robert Clements. Thank you, Besty, for coming today to speak. I hand the podium now to you.
Thank you, Amrita. Over to you, Besty. Over to you.
Thank you, Amrita, for that beautiful introduction. And thanks to Dimensions newsletter for compiling our very good and appropriate introductions for the newsletter. I'm very thankful and very excited for this opportunity to speak about a very relevant issue that is a pressing need of our 21st century workplace. The title for today's session is POSH Your Brand, to provide an insight into why and how the POSH law can influence your brand. As entrepreneurs, in our every waking moment, we strive to build our brand, to be more effective, to be more better than it was yesterday. And in our striving, how can an environment at the workplace affect the image of our brand when it comes to providing a safe environment, especially for the women and the increasing women workforce that are in the workplace today. So before I begin my talk, I would like to draw all your attention to this small video clip about branding. Martin Neumer, he started as a graphic designer and a copywriter in the 1970s. And in 1984, when Macintosh launched, he moved to Silicon Valley and helped companies like Apple, Netscape, HP, Adobe, and Google build their brands. And this is him giving us some insight into what branding truly is. So please listen to it for just 2 minutes.
The term branding, people use it interchangeably with logo design, identity design, or even sometimes typography. And maybe we need to set the record straight. I know you're the best person to tell us, what is branding, Marty?
Yeah, so let's start with what branding isn't.
Okay.
It's because it's not a lot of things people say it is. It's not a logo.
Okay.
A logo is a very useful tool for a business, but it's not the brand. It's a symbol for the brand. A brand is not a product. So when people talk about this brand, buying this brand or that brand, they're really talking about buying one product or another product. The brand is not that. People say the brand is a promise the company makes to customers, and there's some truth in that.
Yep.
I mean, it does end up acting as a promise, but that's not what it is either. Advertising people like to say, well, it's the sum of all the impressions that a company makes on an audience.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if you're trying to sell a lot of impressions, I can see where that might be useful to you. But from a business's point of view, why do they want that? Right? So, and how does that help creative people understand what they're doing?
Right.
So none of those things are really what branding is. A brand is a result. It's a customer's gut feeling about a product, a service, or a company. It ends up in their heads, in their hearts. They take whatever raw materials you throw at them and they make something out of it. But they're making it, they're creating it. And so in a sense, when you create a brand, you're not creating one brand, you're creating millions of brands, like however many customers or people in your audience.
Oh.
Each one has a different brand of you. So a brand is like a reputation, right? So it's your business reputation, and everyone's going to be a little bit different about what that reputation is. And that's okay, as long as you've got it corralled mostly where you want it and that it's beneficial to the company. So we tend to look at companies and designers tend to look at branding as, from our point of view, like this is something we're doing. We're telling a story. We're making a claim. We're making a pitch. And that's what we do, but that's not what a brand is. A brand is the result of that. And if you don't start there, you don't know what you're doing. You actually don't know what you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. So from a designer's point of view, I mean, I always tended to be this way. It's like, it was my gut feeling, right, about whether this is going to work or not. And then I would sell it as hard as I could to get the client to sign off on it. From the client's point of view, they're going, well, it's a checklist. I got the logo, I got the tagline, I got the ad campaign, click, check, and they think they're done.
Right.
None of that's right. What's right is what happens in people's heads. Like, what have we achieved? Like, what's the reputation that we've created through the products we're putting out, like the design of the products, the messaging we're putting out, the look and feel of them, our culture, how does that affect people? How our employees behave, how is that affecting our reputation? All that stuff counts. So it's a big world, and it actually takes in almost all of business. Not so much finance, but finance is involved too, because finance has to greenlight all these things. But almost everybody in a company is, affecting the brand, doing something with the brand, doing it for the brand, or hurting the brand. So you got to think of it that way.
Whew. And yeah.
Yes. So a very important takeaway from the video clip that we just saw is everyone affects our brand. Every employee affects your branding. As a company which has built over years of dedication and hard work, we see it's not just our customers, but our employees who will take a piece of our brand and spread its image in their families, in their circle, in their household. So how employees behave at the workplace is a very crucial aspect of branding. And that is why POSH, that is prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace, is the need of the hour. Because in the 21st century, I have spoken to almost 100 entrepreneurs in the last 2 to 3 years, asking them what is one very important thing that you want to see in your business. And I must say 80% of them told me that I want my employees who are juniors today to have the leadership quality and to see this company as their own, so that in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, they would take over the reins of the company and they would recruit people who would work for them. I do not want to keep new employees over the existing employees. Now, how will that happen? That is by creating a safe and secure workplace. With the increasing participation of women in the workplace as good managers, as able leaders, giving them the opportunity to have a workplace environment which is safe becomes crucial, isn't it? I hope you all agree with me on this point. Yes, so sexual harassment, as we see, is something that is prevalent in society. It is a sad fact, but it is true. Because women at workplace often feel unsafe. Not just at the workplace, it also happens at home. In my recent series of talks on the POXO, many teachers also came up and told me that, and many principals too, surprisingly, about the instances of experience that they had in their childhood. But even then I asked them, as adults, has that changed? And they said no, because we still feel the same. There are many things that we take forward, experiences that we take forward with us, which becomes a trigger. And at the workplace, if any such instances we come across, or any such instances that we are faced with, a challenge that we are faced with, could trigger the childhood trauma that we had. That is why sexual harassment is no joke. Yes. According to World Bank's latest data, we see women represent 23% of India's formal and informal workforce in 20. This is the data of 2021, and I'm sure that in the more recent surveys, this data has improved. And according to statistics, it is we are expecting to have at least 50% of increase in women's participation in the workforce by 2025. Now, the purpose of POSH is trifold. One is to create a safe and respectable environment at the workplace. Ensure legal compliance. Of course, this is very important. POSH has become one of the compulsory 16 compliances that every company must have. So you are also becoming legally compliant. And number 3, which we just spoke about and heard from Mr. Mark, is to enhance productivity at the workplace. This is a little about me, which Amrita already spoke. And I'm very happy to say that POSH has been helping not only prevent sexual harassment. POX and POXO both come under the Ministry of Women and Child Affairs at the central government level. One difference I would like to point out between POXO and POSH is when there is a case registered, when it comes to POXO, I was discussing with this with Amrita the other day, that when it comes to POXO, the intention is investigated. But when it comes to a POSH case, it is the impact and not the intent. This is so, so crucial. Because if a woman feels that I have been sexually harassed or been violated, then that is sufficient for the company or any person who is related to file a case and to pursue it. So the difference is in POSO it is intent, and in POSH it is the impact. This is why it's even more crucial for upcoming brands and also established brands which look forward to continued success. Yes, here is the report that I was telling about. As we go into 2023, so this was Economic Times report in the end of 2022, increased participation of women at work will give industries an edge, with key roles already being occupied by women as we go into 2023. So now we have already entered 2024, and we can see that many women are being hired at middle management and slowly entering into the upper management roles. Now, we will look at the definition of POSH. The full form of POSH is prevention of sexual harassment at the workplace. It is to cultivate respect in the workplace and also to empower employees. Now, why is this so important and so relevant? We see that every company has certain values. By being POSH compliant, we reflect those values in the day-to-day functioning of our office work. Whether it is a factory, whether it is a manufacturing unit, whether it is a service industry, or whether you're serving customers from or giving on-site service to your customers. You have implants, or you have service representatives going to other places and representing your brand and giving them service. Your employees represent the values of your company. By creating and fostering an environment of respect, we provide dignity not only for those whom we serve, but also for those who are already at the workplace. And most importantly, even though POSH is for women, the company policy that you have for POSH, my dear friends, dear entrepreneurs, it can be inclusive. We can make a company policy which includes all genders, even the third gender. And this is why it becomes empowering for all employees. Gender identity is a big topic of discussion today. But how can we survive at the workplace even with all our differences? Even when we know that there are two genders or three genders or more than that, having different attitudes and different mindsets, but working towards a common goal. Can harassment happen the other way around as well? Yes, it could. And does it happen? Yes, it does. But how frequent is it? Or what is the percentage of impact that it has on the workplace, in the work environment? Employees having 5 years of experience, 10 and even 20. When it comes to 20 years of experience, you really want justice for all genders. This is what I have seen among senior employees in the workplace. And it is true, because enhancing productivity and well-being becomes even your priority when you've been working for a company for many, many years, because you want to create such an environment which focuses on work, because focusing on work becomes so important. Even as entrepreneurs, we want, as CEOs, as managers, yes, as Lancia is an HR head, many HR say that, Besty, they don't have a sense of belonging. I want them to have a sense of belonging. Yes, Lancia, I hope you agree with me on this matter. Yes, because you arrange all these training programs and then, they come into the workplace and behave as if they don't belong there. So how do you create that sense of belonging? That is by a positive impact on their morale. So when you create a safe environment, when we say enhancing productivity, it is by impacting their morale. When they feel that, yes, what I do and the way I am is going to be appreciated, and that there will be no negative impact on how I positively contribute. But on the other hand, if I do not behave appropriately, or if someone in the company doesn't appropriately behave with me, it can have consequences. So consequences become so important. And this affects turnover to a very large extent. The focus has to be on getting things done on time, in the right way, and in increasing productivity of each and every employee. That is the reason why we create offices, why we have even offline spaces, or try to create these training programs which will enable our employees to perform better. When I was looking at the history of POSH, can you imagine? It was a rural woman. It was a woman in the rural part of our country who gave the inspiration for POSH. It was Bhavri Devi, and Bhavri Devi was a field worker. She was also a social worker. And she happened to challenge some elders in an upper caste community to stop them from marrying a 9-month-old girl. And because she belonged to a lower strata of society, they questioned her. They were so aggravated. They were so hurt by her guts to stop that marriage, that they decided to take revenge on her. So one afternoon, while she was at the workplace in the field with her husband, her field is a workplace. When she was in the field with her husband, she was brutally raped, gang raped by the elders of that village, mercilessly, shamelessly, and they also assaulted her husband. This all happened in front of her husband. She sought a lot of help from the doctors. Time had gone by, nobody did anything. That was when a society called Vishaka, which works for the empowerment and rights of women, came forward And they said that we will fight your case. Why? Because you were at the workplace. Your field is your workplace. So you deserve to have safety when you are working. And based on this argument of Vishaka, there was created the Vishaka guidelines. This was the prelude to the POSH law. So we see POSH law came into effect in 2013. See how much more. This incident happened in 1992. And the POSH law took so long. This is a sad fact that even a genuine scenario, a genuine case like that of Babri Devi and thousands of women all over our country takes so long to enforce the law. The law on sexual work online, your home becomes your workplace. To this effect, each employer or organization is required to constitute a committee to inquire into and address complaints of sexual harassment of their workforce. So during my trainings, it is not just about creating awareness, but also equipping the committee and building their capacity towards ensuring that there is a safe environment and making sure that they are enabled to report and to address each of these cases that come to them, identifying and addressing. Yes, so safety is crucial for everyone. By being POSH compliant, many managers, many heads of institutes, like CEOs, directors, board of trustees, you all become in a safe spot. It doesn't put you in danger. It gives you a safety net because you are POSH compliant. So tomorrow, anyone who comes in competition and tries to put in a strategy or to attack you, you have your safety net through your POSH compliance, where you can give the right answers. To the IC committee, I give them a very good idea of how POSH enables them to have that safety net. Time and place in the environment where safety is becoming a big concern, a very big concern. So this is so important. You see, gender inclusive. Every person, regardless of their gender, should feel safe and respected at work. Whether it is your sweeper, whether it is the janitor, whether it is the security, whether it is a receptionist, junior executive, senior executive, intern, any person, even the CEO of the company must feel safe. You as the entrepreneur, as the founder of the idea, you're carrying the burden of moving your brand forward. Don't you also want to feel safe in your company? Or are you also always going to be on your toes? Oh, what do my employees need? How am I going to make sure? Will any female come? I know many CEOs who have this fear that, I'm very careful when I speak to female employees. I know some CEOs who totally don't speak much to female employees because of a fear or because of some incident that they have faced before. If you're POSH compliant, you will have the safe space to interact with your female employees as well, safely, securely, because you know that there are certain laws in place even to protect you as a male. This is very important. We are all representatives of a company's values in every interaction. False accusations and allegations in POSH is taken very seriously. There was a recent case in Bangalore where a very young ICN, I think many of you must have heard of that incident. He was accused of sexual harassment falsely, and because of that, he lost his connect with his wife and his child. It so deeply, it affected him so deeply that unfortunately he chose to end his life. And because of that incident, he had journaled his entire experience right from the time when this accusation was, alleged on him. And he wrote everything. Journaling helps you so much. After his death, this case was investigated because the relatives, they sounded the alarm and they said that we want justice. His wife came forward and said that I know my husband cannot do such a thing. And she went and investigated it further. Then the girl who accused this said that I didn't like him and I wanted something better. That is why I did it. You see, this is so unfortunate. Law is equal for all and justice should happen to all genders. I hope you're all with me so far. Yes. Let's look at some very interesting statistics of women's safety in India. The question is, how safe are women at the workplace? You see, cases are soaring. Why is POSH compliance so important? Why is it such a mandate? And increasingly so, because statistics of crimes against women are increasing. Every year, it is doubling. And it's a troubling increase. That is why I use the word troubling increase. 51 crimes against women every year. That is, by the end of this webinar, 51 women will have been subjected to some kind of sexual harassment. Not just at their workplace, even at their homes. You know, many women come to work to escape the atrocities at home because there is hardly anyone to support their dreams and their ambitions at their homes. If these women who come with ambition, who come with vision, and who can align with the visions and goals and values of your company, come to your workplace, don't you think it is our moral responsibility and as well as legal responsibility to provide them a safe workplace? Yes, it is. I can send this slide to you all. This is about the National Crime Report of India, and this QR code will take you to the crime recorded report in each and every state. So this is again very troubling to know that the actual numbers are even 10 times more than what is already recorded. Let's understand in very, very, very short, what are the types of harassment? One is verbal, non-verbal, physical, cyber harassment. Even words like calling someone sexy, chikna, is considered as sexual harassment. Many boys are called chikna, and this is a very prevalent. This is one term that many male employees have told me, ma'am. If we touch girls or women, that becomes a problem. But sometimes they touch us a lot, and we are not comfortable. And if we mention that, the others say that, "Tujhe kya? Tu to enjoy kar raha hai na? Tu maza le." But I don't want it. I don't enjoy. What about that? So creating a safe space is to understand what is gender appropriate behavior. And this has to be trained right from, according to my understanding and my years of experience, speaking about safe and work environment and being a communication trainer, I feel that this must be taught from college level onward. How to behave when you go to a new workplace. I know there are many trainers among us who prepare the young workforce to, start working, preparing them for interviews. This must be included in that module as well. How are you going to enter a new workplace and how are you going to behave in that workplace? Behavior which doesn't amount to any kind of harassment. Unwelcome comments, jokes. I know many jokes on appearance, on, just telling someone that, you do this. We don't have to suggest how somebody should look. Let them look the way they are, based on skin, gestures, looks. Somebody asked me, ma'am, एक सुंदर लड़की है तो हम देख नहीं सकते क्या? I told him, I asked him the question, how long would you like someone to look at your beautiful wife? He has a very beautiful wife, this guy who asked me. So he said that to a certain limit, not much. He said, I asked, but you still tell me, how many minutes would you tolerate? He said that, ma'am, not even minutes. I won't even tolerate it for more than 3 to 5 seconds. I said that, yes, that is exactly how long you should also look at a woman. And when you communicate, it has to be eye to eye, not anywhere else. You can make a woman feel uncomfortable, even a man uncomfortable by the way you gaze at them. So unwanted touching advances and physical intimation. By advances, we also mean respecting their private space. After my POSH workshop last month, when we were taking a group photograph, many women were telling, ma'am, see, now now they are maintaining safe space, even while taking the photographs. I said, yes, because now they are aware. You don't have to teach them, 1 hand distance and 1 feet distance. No, it comes automatically with a mindset at the workplace is created. It doesn't come naturally. An environment, a safe environment, respectable environment, a fun environment. You can have a lot of fun in a safe environment. This is what I always tell the young crowd. You can have a lot of fun when your environment is safe. Mindset has to be identified. The POSH committee, the internal complaints committee, must be able to identify which employee has more tendency towards committing offenses against others and must take steps before it happens. That is why it's POSH, it's prevention, not just protection. It's prevention from it happening before it happens. You see the total cases redressed, cases pending, and the total number of cases is given in a short idea here. In the fiscal year 2020, we had 999 total cases, and of which 881 were sorted out. And we see the mechanism of redressal is improving year by year. Year by year, it is improving, and it still needs a lot of work to be done. This is very new to us. And as a young and growing and developing India, I feel this is the need of the hour. Making our youth so equipped to understand what is the impact of harassment. If you tell a silly word, we know about bullying in school, and it has had a gaining momentum globally. And even the Me Too movement brought this sexual harassment in the limelight. But still needs a lot of understanding and training at the basic level, understanding to sensitize our workforce. What is emotional distress? What is anxiety? What is depression? And how it is different for everyone. How can you identify decline in mental well-being of your colleague? HRs and management doesn't have to take the entire burden. If the workforce is ably, trained, they themselves can identify and come to you with very good impact and data. You will create leaders among yourselves. In your workplace, you will have very able leaders among the employees to report and to address and to enable a safe environment. It has led to a lot of decreased productivity, absenteeism, and negative work environment, all these kinds of issues. And very sadly, many startups and many upcoming, those who have even, they say startup is for 5 years. If you have crossed that mark, then you are becoming successful. Companies which are 10 years old, 12 years old, 14 to 15 years becomes a very tough benchmark for many companies to survive, because that is when they become target for many competitive, things. There are many cases of where there have been purposeful implants to just create an issue, a sexual harassment issue, and then they tarnish the reputation of that brand. This has been done by competitive forces in the workplace. So they just send somebody to create an issue. And then, this is a very increasing kind of an agenda. I've been hearing this a lot, even among the local companies. So they don't allow it to grow. Why? Because of competition. And that is very bad, isn't it? That's not fair. Everyone has the right to build their brand and to make sure. So if your workforce is trained, you see how important POSH becomes in the workplace. Yes. The reporting mechanism for POSH is to report to the IC committee to identify. The HR department plays a very important role, very, very important role. You have designated authorities within the organization to handle, and yes, an external member, somebody who raises their voice for women's rights and who is very active, who has knowledge of law and who knows such issues and can help your IC committee to build their capacity to handle cases that happen. And also you will be tying up with a legal firm. We have Amrita here at Dimensions, who is very well aware, and we were discussing about many cases the other day. You know, we work in tandem with very well-reputed lawyers to empanel with organizations and to address issues internally itself before it becomes greater issues. You have to learn to sort these issues internally before it becomes an issue later. And you have the complete right. The IC has the right of a lower court. That is the right of an IC committee. So that is why capacity building and making them aware of the laws are very important. I give examples in my training sessions. I'm not going to take it further. It's 8:41. So these are just examples of how I ask the employees questions, and those who are part of the training, give them a situation and ask them, how will you respond? These questions can even be a benchmark for you to assess and analyze how well your employees are aware about how to handle situations. Here's a question during a team meeting. One of your colleagues makes a joke that is offensive and derogatory towards a specific gender. How would you respond to the situation? I want you to ask this question to your employees and see how they respond. You will get to know their mindset. Let's look at what an appropriate response should be. As per our POSH policy, any form of derogatory or offensive remarks based on gender is considered sexual harassment. I would calmly but firmly inform my colleague that such jokes are inappropriate. So calmly and firmly is very important. The tagline of Kerala Police is polite but firm. That's exactly the attitude that we must have when it comes to addressing sexual harassment complaints. So, and tell my colleague that such jokes are inappropriate and go against a company's values of respect and inclusivity. Always connect the workplace culture to the values of your company. So then they are morally obligated to behave in a certain way. Without obligation, people will not behave. Yesterday, when I was crossing, I left my daughter at her cricket academy and I was coming back and I saw a sign, "Yaha kooda dalna mana hai." Usi banner ke niche bahut sara kooda tha. This is a common sight. This is a common sight. But if it was enforced, it would have not happened, because just putting posters or making an announcement is not sufficient. They have to be trained to follow. There has to be consequences. Now, what is the consequence is what is trained to the IC committee. Another situation here is you observe a group of employees engaging in gossip and spreading rumors about a co-worker's personal life. Trust me, this is an increasing problem at the workplace, where everyone is interested in others' work life, in others' personal life, including their romantic relationships. What steps would you take to discourage this behavior? Many a times, not being part of such gossips and rumors puts you out of the club. Yes, am I right? Yeah. Yes, Lancia, do you agree with me in this? So how will we enable our employees to answer such questions becomes very, very relevant and very, very important. Responding appropriately is gossiping and rumors, spreading rumors about a colleague's personal life can create a hostile work environment. Yes, Lancia, you want to say something?
No, I think I got paused because of unstable connectivity. But
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree on more of your points over here. So
Yes.
we experience a lot of all this happening.
Yes, yes. So the training is all about telling them how to respond to it. You know, majority of workforce are very good people. Because of a few, they are affected. The work culture gets affected. But it's about re-social engineering the workplace, about allowing good people to take the leadership. allowing them to be projected and in the limelight and being brave to be good. We need people who dare to be good. If they dare to be wise, if they dare to be good, and they dare to continue to lead others. Many intelligent people don't have the social skills. They are very good people, but they don't have the social skills to lead and to defend themselves. I want you to behave in a certain way because this is what is asked for. They look to laws and the company policy. So if we have the company policy, then it enables them to be good leaders. See, now you see, sexual harassment is not acceptable in any way. The law applies to everyone all the way to the top. I am very sure all of us know about the Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh case, which happened recently. Yes. I would like to conclude in the next 1 minute by just pointing out 3 things. Know your rights, document incidents, and build a support network. These are 3 very important aspects that I always emphasize in my training to the employees. You are valued. Your company values you. And you should know your rights, whether you're male or female. Increasingly for the females, because we owe them to give them that workplace, to give them that safe environment. And greater awareness has been a norm. It is the latest trend. A safe workplace is the in trend today. It is in fashion. It is in trend today. Build a support network. How they can do it in the right manner. So the 5 takeaways are: practice assertive communication, remember your value, focus on solution, attend trainings and workshops, seek professional support. These are the 5 takeaways always during the awareness training, what every employee must do. These 5 takeaways for employees will definitely empower them, and it will make your brand legally compliant. It will ensure that there are potential consequences, and it will demonstrate due diligence. That is, not only your employees, but your customers also know that you are a brand that upholds the 21st century values, and you are a futuristic company which looks into the future of every employee, and every customer would want to associate with a brand which takes care of their employees. Because by the way you look after your employees, the customer knows how well your service would be. These are some repeated statistics of safety of women in India, because the moment a woman feels safe, she can step out alone. Build a positive brand image and ensure that during your talent attraction and retention, your POSH compliance will ensure your social responsibility. With that, we can end. Let's work toward making our workplace a model of inclusivity where everyone can thrive. And with that, I end my talk. Thank you very much, Dimensions, and to all those who have been present today for my presentation on POSH. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Besty, for this insightful session. And we have 5 minutes for Q&A. I mean, we have a question already in the box from Mr. Wilson. So the question is, how do you constitute the internal compliance committee for POSH? What is the investigation process to address complaints?
The internal committee has to comprise 80% of women. But when it comes to the company policy, we can have a 60-40 ratio, because the company is going to create a gender neutral policy for all the employees. POSH is going to be one of part of our company policy. So the company policy is written for all the employees, where it is not gender biased. And employees, those who are able to, during the training sessions itself, we identify the leaders and they come forward. During all my POSH awareness trainings, I have had employees coming forward and saying that I want to be part of the committee because I care about this aspect. They must be employees at every level. So at executive level, At middle management and at upper management, we need representatives. If your company is very big, like we have Victor here with 800 plus employees, so you will have representatives at different departments and at different levels being part of the IC committee so that they can resolve issues together about any complaints that come to them. There is a set procedure of how you have to address complaints, and that is part of the capacity building training, where we enable them to not only file, but also what is the procedure that they must follow by respecting both the person who has been accused, because we never know, we cannot judge, there has to be no bias. Suppose, let me take Ajit, for example. So Ajit's best friend has been accused of, sexual harassment. So, and Ajit is part of the IC committee. So Ajit says very valiantly that, see, since he is my friend, I cannot be part of the investigation. So there are such rules and regulations that has to be taken care of. And it's a training, it's a long procedure. So yeah, that is how the IC committee is enabled to follow every investigation. Investigation is first sorted out within the company, has to be done by the IC committee. Only then it goes into the courts, into the other outside court. And the IC committee, as I said, has the power of a lower court. It has the power to address and also to mete out punishments. Yes.
Yeah, we have a question from Amrita. What should be the strength of employees to be POSH compliant?
10 plus employees is what they say. But in today's world, I would say, even if you have a startup of, say, 5 plus employees, please start being POSH compliant, because these 5 to 6 employees are going to be the leaders of your company in future. So if they are well aware and you know that they are really good force, you want them to be capable to address any issues that happen in future. So the moment you have one manager or one leader in your company handling 2 or 3 employees under them, be POSH compliant, at least conduct the awareness trainings, so that the moment you hit 10, you can immediately file your compliance report.
Sylvester would like to know what support help can you provide anyone who wants to be POSH compliant?
Yes, thank you for that question. So I am empaneled as an external member. I'm a POSH enabler. I will guide the management of how you, in awareness trainings, in legal compliance, in reporting, and as well as capacity building for the IC, which are the 4 very essential things when it comes to being POSH compliant. There is continuous training that happens and awareness at the employee level, at the junior employee level. I speak 4 different languages. So whether it is Marathi, Hindi, Malayalam, or English, I can train your employees. That is why I'm open to training anywhere across India. And if you have a base which has many employees, we can do the training online as well as offline. Doesn't matter if you're just locally, even if you're spread across India, we can conduct the trainings. Awareness trainings is first step. Second is making the IC committee and capacity building of the IC committee. Third is making sure that the quarterly reports are filed, are made. And the fourth step is the annual reports. So we always work with a legal firm. Yes. So with Dimensions, I believe Amrita will be my consultant. Yes. So we will work. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
I request all of you to please keep your cameras on. And since we're running out of time, I request Mr. Vincent to do the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you, Besty, for a very informative and important awareness session on the topic of POSH. Besty started by saying, why POSH is so very important for building a corporate brand and personal brand. There are very many corporate executives who have, lost out on careers because they committed mistakes and blunders related to certain requirements that they needed to fulfill as a part of the POSH Act. Yeah, she also said that, you know, a brand is a customer's feeling about our product, about our service, about the culture that we have, and that every employee in the company affects our brands. She talked about POSH and POSCO helping create safe and respectful environment and the need to ensure legal compliance as well as increase the productivity of the way we work. She said it was very important to create a safe and respectful culture, and sexual harassment can sometimes occur in different forms: verbal, non-verbal, physical, as well as cyber. She stressed the importance of reporting systems. She shared a number of scenarios where we need to respond appropriately and positively. She exhorted us to ensure that we know our rights, the need to document incidents, and most importantly, to build a support network. Yeah, and she also said that through legal compliance and risk mitigation, we can ensure better brand building for our organizations and also showcase a model of inclusivity where everyone in the company can actually thrive and grow. Thanks a lot, Besty, for a wonderful session and for making us aware of this very important requirement for our own success and the success of our businesses. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. And I would now request Anaway to close the session with the closing time.
Let us sign ourselves. As we conclude this webinar, we offer thanks to the knowledge gained and connections made. May the insights shared resonate in our minds and guide our actions. Bless each participant with continued growth and understanding. Until we meet again, may we carry forth this learning. Amen.
Thank you, Anaway. Thank you, Besty. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And
Thank
have a
you.
nice weekend.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Besty. Very engaging session.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for the session.
I'm leaving my contact in the chat box for anyone who would like to contact me for further training. That's my contact number. You can reach out to me.